The clock reads 11:47 p.m., but my chemistry textbook swims before my eyes. I blink hard, trying to focus on electron configurations, while empty coffee cups form a graveyard around my desk. 9 hours until my final. 9 hours to memorize an entire semester of biochemistry. The desk lamp casts a yellow glow across my notes, and I squint at molecular diagrams until they blur together. My phone buzzes against the desk. Vanessa's name lights up the screen. My stomach drops. I know that ring. The special tone I set for my sister after the third emergency this semester. The phone keeps buzzing. I watch it dance across my chemistry notes, willing it to stop. But Vanessa never stops. Not until she gets what she wants. On the 7th ring, I pick up. Van? Claire? Her voice trembles. I need you, just for a few hours tomorrow. The familiar knot forms in my throat. Tomorrow? Van, I have my chemistry final. It's a medical appointment. A baby wails in the background, Ella, from the pitch of the cry. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important. My mother's voice echoes in my head. You need to be there for family, no matter what. The words burned into my brain since childhood, right alongside the periodic table. I press my fingers against my temples. What time? Just the morning. 3 hours, tops. I'll pick them up by 2. 3 hours. My final starts at 9. If I cut my review time. Van, I really need to study. Please, Claire. Her voice cracks. I don't have anyone else to ask. Mom's working, and you know how Leo gets with strangers. The sound of my 4-year-old nephew's name twists something in my chest. Leo, who calls me Auntie Claire and draws me pictures of stick figure scientists because he knows I want to be a doctor. I stare at my planner, the hours mapped out in precise 15-minute blocks. 3 hours of childcare equals 3 hours less study time. The numbers don't add up, but they never do when Vanessa calls. Just 3 hours, I say finally. I need to be back studying by 2. You're a lifesaver. The tears vanish from her voice, replaced by bright relief. I'll drop them off at 8. I hang up and set my alarm 30 minutes earlier. 7 instead of 7:30. Every minute counts now. But Vanessa arrives at 8:45, her hair wild and makeup half done. Baby Ella wears a stained onesie, and Leo clutches his dinosaur backpack with one sock-clad foot and one bare one. His other shoes in the car somewhere, Vanessa says, shoving an overstuffed diaper bag into my arms. Ella just ate, and Leo likes apple juice. There's some in the bag. I try to catch her arm. Van, you said 8 o'clock. I know, I'm sorry. She swipes at her lipstick, which is smeared slightly outside the lines. Traffic was awful. Oh, and I might grab lunch with Sarah after my appointment. Just an extra hour, tops. My chest tightens. But you said... You're the best! She kisses each child quickly, lingering a moment longer than usual with Ella. Something flickers in her eyes, guilt, fear. But then she's gone, her coat flapping behind her as she hurries down the hall. I catch a glimpse of sequins beneath the practical brown wool. Not exactly medical appointment attire. The door clicks shut. Leo tugs at my sweater with sticky fingers. Auntie Claire, I'm hungry. Okay, buddy. I hoist Ella higher on my hip, trying to balance her against my biochemistry textbook. Let's get you some breakfast. Ella starts to fuss, and I bounce her gently while digging through the diaper bag with my free hand. My phone buzzes. A message from my professor. Review session starting now. Last chance before the final. I silence the phone and pull out a juice box for Leo. He squeezes it too hard, and apple juice sprays across 3 pages of my carefully color-coded study guide. My hands shake as I mop up the spill. The molecular structures blur and run together, stained sweet and sticky, like everything else Vanessa touches. The hours tick by. 9 o'clock, 10, 11. My unanswered texts pile up. Van, where are you? The appointment should be done by now. Please call me. Van, I have to study. At 5:47, I'm pacing my small dorm room, Ella crying against my shoulder while Leo builds a fort from my pillows. My professor's name flashes on my phone, the 3rd missed call. When it finally rings at 9:30, I grab it so fast I almost drop Ella. Van? Music pounds through the speaker. Laughter. The unmistakable ding of a slot machine. Claire. Vanessa's voice floats through the chaos, loose and slurred. Slight change of plans. Can you keep them overnight? The room spins. I sink onto my bed, still clutching Ella. My final is in 11 hours. Vanessa. My voice comes out strange and tight. Where are you? But I already know. The better question is, what am I going to do about it? The screen of my phone glows in the darkness. 14 calls, 23 text messages. My thumb hovers over Vanessa's name. The clock reads 3:47 a.m., and somewhere in the apartment, Leo whimpers in his sleep. Vanessa, please. My voice breaks as I record another voicemail. It's been 24 hours. Just tell me you're okay. The words echo in the kitchen where I stand, barefoot on cold linoleum. A bottle of formula sits half prepared on the counter, powder scattered like snow around its base. My hands shake as I press end on the call. 1 hour. I'll give her 1 more hour before I call the police. The thought makes my stomach clench. I imagine the conversation. Yes, officer, my sister abandoned her children with me. No, officer, she didn't say where she was going. Yes, officer, I'm only 18. Leo's whimper turns into a cry. I shuffle toward the bedroom, my legs heavy with exhaustion. He sits up in the nest of blankets I made on my floor, his Spider-Man pajamas twisted around his small body. When's mommy coming back? His lower lip trembles. Soon. The lie tastes bitter. Let's get you some water, buddy. In the kitchen, my phone buzzes. My heart leaps. But it's just my mother returning my frantic calls from earlier. Have you heard from her? I ask without greeting. Oh, honey, you know how Vanessa gets. Mom's voice carries that familiar note of dismissal. She's done this before. She'll be back. Done what before? Left her kids? Don't be dramatic, Claire. She probably just needed a break. The words hit like a slap. I think of my biochemistry final, now missed, of Professor Wilson's voicemail about automatic failure, of Leo's tear-stained face, and Ella's endless crying. I'm calling the police, I say. Claire Elizabeth Morgan, don't you dare. Mom's voice sharpens. We handle family matters in the family. I end the call. My fingers tremble as I dial 911. Each ring feels like an eternity until a calm voice answers. 911, what's your emergency? I need to report. The words stick in my throat. My sister left her children with me yesterday morning. She hasn't come back. She's not answering calls. The dispatcher's voice remains steady. How long has she been gone? 26 hours. I swallow hard. She said she had a medical appointment. She was supposed to be back in 3 hours. And the children's ages? Leo is 4. Ella is 8 months. There's a pause then. We'll send an officer to take a report. The next hour blurs. The officer arrives. Officer Martinez, according to his nameplate. He stands in my cramped dorm room, notepad in hand, his expression a mix of sympathy and something else. Something that makes my chest tight. Sounds like she needed a break from the kids, he says, echoing my mother's words. This happens sometimes with young mothers. She said she had a medical appointment. I pull up the hospital's number on my phone. Could you check? He makes the call. I watch his face as he listens, knowing the answer before he speaks. No record of an appointment for Vanessa Morgan yesterday. My world tilts sideways. I grab the edge of my desk to steady myself. I'll put out a welfare check, Officer Martinez says. But if she's just taking some personal time. Personal time? The words come out sharp. She left her baby without formula. Leo has school tomorrow. This isn't personal time. He writes something in his notepad, probably noting my tone, my age, my obvious inability to handle this situation. After he leaves, I sit at my computer. My hands move automatically, typing Vanessa's name into Facebook. The page loads. This user has blocked you. Instagram next. Blocked. Twitter. Blocked. The reality crashes over me like a wave. This wasn't an emergency. This wasn't a mistake. This was planned. In the kitchen, I count formula scoops with shaking hands. 4 bottles left, maybe 5 if I stretch them. Leo needs lunch for tomorrow, but the sandwich bread has gone moldy. My last $20 sits in my wallet, meant for my bus pass to get to my now failed final. A knock on the wall startles me. Keep it down in there. My neighbor's voice carries through the thin drywall. That baby's been crying for hours. I look at Ella, red-faced and screaming in her makeshift bed, a laundry basket lined with blankets. I've changed her diaper 3 times, but nothing helps. My hands shake as I try to warm another bottle, the formula spilling across the counter. I'm sorry, I whisper, though I'm not sure to whom. To Ella? To Leo? To myself? I pull out my phone and start a new note. Day 2 without Vanessa. I type, then add the time and date. I take pictures. The empty formula containers, Leo's tear-stained face, the failed diaper changes evident in the rash spreading across Ella's skin. Evidence. I need evidence. My professor's voicemail plays again in my head. Missing this final means failing the course. Family emergencies require documentation. I email him anyway, attaching photos of the police report. His response comes quickly. Personal family matters are not excused absences without prior arrangement. The syllabus is clear on this point. The alarm on my phone chimes, the one set for my final. I silence it with trembling fingers, then slide down the kitchen wall until I hit the floor. Ella's cries have turned to whimpers. Leo sleeps fitfully on my bed, his small body curled around my pillow. In the bathroom mirror, a stranger stares back at me. Dark circles ring my eyes. My hair hangs limp and unwashed. Formula stains mark my last clean shirt. My phone rings. The screen shows Vanessa's name. My hands shake so badly I almost drop it as I answer. Hey, how are the kids doing? Her voice is light, casual. In the background, I hear the distinctive electronic trill of slot machines, the sound of distant cheering. You're in Vegas? The words come out in a whisper. Oh my God, Claire, you won't believe it. I met this guy at the bar yesterday and he just happened to have an extra ticket and… I stop listening. The slot machines keep ringing in my ears, a mocking chorus of bells and whistles while my world collapses in a dorm room 500 miles away. My fingers grip the phone so tight my knuckles blanched white. When are you coming home? The question scraped my throat raw. Soon, soon. Ice clinked against glass. Someone shouted about drinks. Hey, Tony. Yeah, I'll take another martini. The line went dead. I stared at my reflection in the dark window. Dark circles carved valleys under my eyes, and baby formula crusted the collar of my wrinkled t-shirt. Behind me, the physics textbook lay abandoned on the kitchen counter, mocking all my plans for finals week. A knock at the door startled me. Emily from my chemistry study group stood in the hallway, clutching a CVS bag. I got your text. She pushed past me, pulling out containers of formula and a fresh pack of diapers. The store was almost closed, but I made it. My chin trembled. You didn't have to. Yes, I did. She squeezed my arm. When's the last time you slept? I shook my head, unable to remember. The next morning, Professor Wilson took one look at me standing in his office doorway and held up his hand. Miss Morgan, you look like you haven't slept in days. I can take the final, I just need. What you need is rest. He pulled out a form from his desk. I'm approving a deferred exam, family emergency. But the department policy. The policy exists for situations exactly like this. He signed the bottom with a flourish. Take care of yourself and those children. The exam will be here when you're ready. I clutched the paper, vision blurring. That afternoon, Mrs. Henderson from next door found me attempting to soothe Ella's colicky screams. Without a word, she lifted the baby from my arms and demonstrated a gentle bouncing motion. Like this, dear. Support her head and pat her back in rhythm. Ella's cries softened to whimpers. My Tommy was the same way 30 years ago. I watched her expert movements, memorizing the pattern. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. You're doing nothing wrong. She settled into the rocking chair. That sister of yours, though. My hands trembled so badly, I dropped the bottle I'd been warming. Glass shattered across the linoleum. Leo's Batman cup tumbled from the counter in my scramble to clean up, spraying apple juice everywhere. I can't. The room spun. My skin burned fever, hot. I need to. The mop handle clattered against the cabinets as I slumped to the floor. Mrs. Henderson's worried face swam above me. I can't do this anymore. The words came out between sobs. I'm failing them. I'm failing everyone. That night, after both kids finally slept, I sat at the kitchen table with my planner. Page by page, I wrote out their schedule. Bottles, naps, Leo's favorite snacks, Ella's preferred swaddle technique. The paper grew damp with tears. I washed every bottle until it sparkled, folded tiny onesies into perfect squares, spent my last $20 on the exact brand of diapers Ella needed for her sensitive skin. My voice shook as I recorded the final entry in my log. Day 4 without Vanessa. No contact since Vegas call. Children fed, bathed, homework complete. Leo asked about mommy again. I didn't know what to say. A strange calm settled over me as I packed my own bag. One change of clothes, my laptop, the physics textbook I hadn't opened in days. Your mommy will be home soon, I whispered, stroking Leo's hair as he slept. He clutched his stuffed dinosaur thumb in his mouth. 4 years old and already learning that people leave. Ella stirred in her crib. I traced her tiny features with my finger, the bow of her lips, the curve of her cheek. So much trust in such a small package. My mother's number blinked on my phone screen. Better to send the documentation now before I lost my nerve. 4 days of detailed logs, photos, timestamps, the Vegas call recording, everything. The key scraped in the lock just past midnight. Vanessa burst in, phone pressed to her ear, golden tan glowing in the dim light. God, Vegas was wild. I totally lost track of time. She tossed her designer bag onto the counter, scattering my carefully arranged care notes. The pool parties were insane. You should have seen. She finally noticed my expression. What? They're fine, aren't they? You always handle everything. The words stuck in my throat. I missed my final. I called the police. You're being so dramatic. She waved her hand, rolling her eyes. It was just a few days. I needed a break. The police filed a report. Child Services. Can you shut up? She flopped onto the couch. I'm exhausted. Something inside me went very, very still. I stood, movements precise. Gathered my bag, straightened the care schedule on the counter where she'd scattered it. Ella's soft breathing. Leo's dinosaur tucked against his chest. The gentle whir of the baby monitor. The door clicked shut behind me without a sound. When does family loyalty end and self-respect begin? Have you ever had to walk away from toxic family? Share your experience. The next day, the train window reflects my hollow eyes back at me, dark circles carved beneath them like bruises. My hands rest in my lap, skin raw and red from 4 days of washing bottles, changing diapers, living someone else's life. The woman sitting across from me keeps glancing over, probably wondering if I'm sick. Maybe I am. My phone weighs heavy in my pocket, loaded with the evidence. 4 days of detailed logs, photos, voice memos recorded in exhausted whispers at 3 a.m. The precise documentation of a sister's betrayal, a mother's willful blindness, a family's pattern of using the reliable one until she breaks. I pull out my phone, thumb hovering over the send all button I created last night. The file will go to Mom, Aunt Sarah, Aunt Beth, everyone who needs to see exactly what happened while Vanessa played in Vegas. Everyone who needs to understand why I finally walked away. My thumb presses down. A soft whoosh confirms the send. 3 seconds pass before Mom's name lights up my screen. I silence it, watching her call fade to a missed notification. Then another. And another. The quiet between each ring feels like permission to breathe. My phone buzzes with Mom's text. You could have just stayed one more day. A laugh bubbles up in my throat, sharp and bitter as black coffee. One more day, always one more day. One more favor, one more emergency, one more sacrifice of my time, my studies, my life to cover for Vanessa's latest disappearing act. Aunt Sarah's voicemail comes next. I had no idea Vanessa would do this. The lie in her voice stings worse than the truth. They all knew. They'd watched Vanessa dump her kids on me a dozen times before. They just never had to see the aftermath, never had to witness what it cost me to clean up her messes. But Aunt Beth's message lands different. You can stay with me if you need space. No questions asked. My eyes burn as I type back a simple yes. The first word I've said to any of them since walking out of Vanessa's apartment. 2 hours later, I collapse into Beth's guest room bed. The silence rings in my ears. No crying babies, no toddler tantrums, no constant undercurrent of anxiety about what crisis might come next. Just quiet. I sleep for 14 hours straight. When I wake, Beth has left soup warming on the stove and fresh towels in the bathroom. I catch my reflection as I splash water on my face. The dark circles haven't faded, but something else has changed. My shoulders have dropped from their permanent hunch. My jaw has unclenched. Professor Wilson's email arrives while I'm picking at the soup. Deferred exam approved. Documentation received. The relief hits so hard I have to sit down. One piece of my life, salvaged from the wreckage Vanessa left behind. In the next few days, I eat real meals. I shower without rushing. The color seeps back into my face like watercolor bleeding across paper. And on the fourth night at Beth's, while folding laundry that smells like lavender instead of spit up, I finally break. The sobs come from somewhere deep and primal, ripping through my chest like they might tear me apart. Beth finds me on the floor, surrounded by half-folded towels, keening like a wounded animal. She doesn't try to fix it, just sits beside me, hands steady on my shoulder while years of swallowed pain pour out. The text from Vanessa comes a week later. You promised to watch Leo while I take Ella to her Saturday checkup. Don't flake now. My finger hovers over the reply button. The old instinct screams to say yes, to keep the peace, to be the good sister, the reliable aunt, the eternal safety net. Vanessa's dismissive wave flashes through my mind. You're being so dramatic. The sound of slot machines in the background while I changed her baby's diaper at 3 a.m. The casual way she walked back into her apartment, tanned and rested, while I stood there running on caffeine and pure stubbornness. I set the phone face down on Beth's kitchen counter. You don't owe her anything, Beth says quietly, squeezing my shoulder as she passes. The simple truth of it settles into my bones. A week later, through the family grapevine, I hear about Vanessa's trip to the pediatric clinic, how she struggled to manage both kids alone, how the nurse recognized her name from the missing persons report I filed, how Vanessa's standard excuses fell flat against professional skepticism. She was 40 minutes late, Aunt Sarah reports, voice hushed like sharing gossip rather than evidence of neglect. They made a note in Ella's file, something about welfare concerns. The ripples spread. Friends who once enabled Vanessa's behavior start pulling back. Mom's daily voicemails grow increasingly frantic, begging me to just talk to your sister, she's really trying now. The formal letter from Child Protective Services arrives at Beth's house, forwarded from my dorm address. Vanessa must attend mandatory parenting classes, weekly check-ins. Supervised visits if she leaves the kids with anyone. Her voicemail crackles with rage. Are you happy now? They're making me take classes. This is all your fault. I delete it without replying. The acceptance letter from the Denver Summer Research Program arrives on a Tuesday morning. The crisp letterhead bears my name, my future, my chance to breathe free air untainted by obligation and guilt. My smile feels foreign on my face as I sign the acceptance form. I don't tell Mom, don't tell Vanessa, don't announce it on social media where family can see. This piece of joy belongs to me alone. Later that night, I pack the single photo I kept of Leo and Ella. Their bright eyes shine up at me from the frame, Leo's gap-toothed grin, Ella's pudgy hands reaching for the camera. My heart squeezes. I trace their faces through the glass, memorizing details I might forget. Then I wrap the frame carefully in tissue paper and tuck it into my desk drawer. Some loves have to be held from a distance to keep from drowning in them. I close the drawer softly, letting the click of the latch mark the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. One where I choose myself first, where my voice rings clear and true, where no is not a betrayal, but a battle cry. They'll call it abandonment, running away, selfishness. I call it survival. A month later, the microscope clicks into focus under my fingers. Through the lens, bacterial colonies spread across the petri dish in perfect, predictable patterns. Here in the sterile quiet of the Denver Research Lab, everything makes sense. No chaos, no drama, no last-minute emergencies that aren't actually emergencies at all. I adjust my lab coat, still stiff with newness, and make another note in my research log. Around me, other students and researchers move with purpose, focused on their own projects. None of them know about the trail of broken promises and manipulated guilt I left behind in Meadowbrook. None of them care that I haven't spoken to my sister in 32 days. Hey, want to grab lunch? My lab partner Rachel leans against my workstation. That new sandwich place opened across the street. Give me 5 minutes to finish this culture count. Rachel nods and wanders off to gather her things. My phone buzzes in my pocket, the special vibration pattern I set for family messages. I don't need to look to know it's another text from Vanessa. They've been coming more frequently lately, a desperate digital drumbeat. Where are you? Mom won't tell me. Answer your phone, Claire, this isn't funny. You can't just disappear like this. I click to the next microscope field, counting methodically. My mother's voicemails stack up too, her tone shifting from worried to pleading. Please call me back, Claire. I know you're upset, but we're still family. Family? The word doesn't mean what it used to. A letter arrived yesterday, forwarded from my old address. The CPS letterhead made my hands shake when I opened it. Required parenting classes. Mandatory supervision. The consequences Vanessa never thought would catch up to her, spelled out in clean, bureaucratic type. The microscope slides out of focus. I blink hard, realigning the lens. Earth to Claire? Rachel waves a hand in front of my face. You okay? You've been staring at that same spot for like 5 minutes. Sorry, got lost in thought. I push back from the microscope, stripping off my latex gloves. Lunch sounds good. My new roommate Kate notices too. That evening she perches on the edge of my bed while I fold laundry, watching me match socks with mechanical precision. You never talk about your family, she says carefully. Bad blood? I smooth a wrinkle from a t-shirt. Something like that. My phone lights up again. Vanessa's number flashes on the screen, no voicemail this time. She's learning I won't listen to them anyway. But 2 days later, Aunt Beth's message lands like a rock in my stomach. Vanessa showed up at my house looking for you. She seemed different, more scared than angry. In the following weeks, the family gathering photos start appearing on Facebook. Cousin Sarah's graduation party, Uncle Mike's retirement barbecue. In every shot, the space where I should be stands empty. Mom's smile looks strained. Vanessa holds Leo and Ella close, her eyes searching the edges of every frame like she might find me lurking there. Her complaints don't find the same sympathetic audience anymore. The story spins differently when I'm not there to absorb the blame, to smooth things over, to make excuses. The family system creaks and shifts, readjusting to my absence like a body learning to walk with a missing limb. My phone rings on a Wednesday night, 2 months since I walked away. Vanessa's number. My finger hovers over decline. But something makes me answer. The silence stretches between us for 3 heartbeats. Guess you're just gonna ghost your family, huh? Her voice crackles with familiar venom. That's cold. I take a slow breath, tasting the words before I speak them. I didn't disappear. I just stopped making excuses for people who do. The silence returns, heavier this time. I hear her breathing change. The CPS worker said I could lose them. Her voice cracks on the last word. All the acid drains away, leaving something raw and frightened underneath. What did you think would happen when you left them? The question comes out steady, neutral. Not cruel, but not gentle either. I don't. She swallows hard. What am I supposed to do now? Take responsibility for your choices. A sound catches in her throat, half laugh, half sob. I messed up. I know that now. I say nothing. Let the weight of her words fill the space between us. I'm taking these parenting classes. Her voice steadies slightly. They make sense, and I started therapy last week. The counselor says I have to deal with my abandonment issues from dad leaving. This is your journey to make, I tell her, not mine. She starts to protest, then stops herself. Progress, maybe. When we hang up, my hands don't shake. My chest feels lighter, like setting down a burden I've carried so long I forgot its weight. The calendar on my wall shows Thanksgiving approaching. I trace the dates with my finger, considering. Kate appears in my doorway with a mug of tea. You're thinking about going home, aren't you? I nod slowly. I think I am. Are you sure you're ready? A smile tugs at my lips as I pack my weekend bag, movements calm and deliberate. I check my flight confirmation one more time before answering. I'm not the one who needs to be ready. At the present, my hand trembles on the brass doorknob of my mother's house. The November wind whips fallen leaves around my ankles, and my stomach churns as memories flood back. I close my eyes, draw in a breath that smells of wood smoke and impending snow, and turn the handle. Mom stands in the doorway, her face lined with months I've missed. Silver threads now dominate her temples, where there used to be patches of gray. She opens her arms and I step into them. The hug feels different, tentative, like we're both handling crystal that might shatter. Claire. Her voice breaks on my name. I follow her inside, noting changes. New photos line the hallway wall, where there used to be only Vanessa's children. Among them, I spot my Denver award pictures. Mom must have gotten it from Aunt Beth. The house feels smaller than before, cozier, yet more confined. Like a sweater that once swallowed me whole now pulls tight across my shoulders. Aunt Beth swoops in from the kitchen, flour dusting her apron. There's my brilliant niece, she announces, pride radiating from her smile. Everyone, come meet Claire. She's doing incredible research on cellular regeneration in Denver. Mom's hand flutters near my elbow, hesitating before speaking. Would you like some coffee, honey? I got those vanilla beans you used to. She stops herself. Or would you prefer something else? The absence of automatic criticism feels strange, like missing a stair-step in the dark. Coffee would be wonderful, Mom. A door slams outside. Mom tenses but doesn't rush to help as Vanessa struggles through the front door, juggling bags and children. My sister looks different, their designer clothes replaced by practical jeans and a warm sweater. Her face bears little makeup, and her eyes focus on her children instead of her phone. Auntie Claire? Leo barrels toward me, his small body colliding with my legs. I missed you so much. Did you see my turkey picture? I made it just for you. My throat tightens as I ruffle his hair, noting how much he's grown. I can't wait to see it, buddy. Vanessa sets down her bags, our eyes meeting across the foyer. The air grows thick with unspoken words. She looks younger somehow, stripped of her carefully constructed facade. More like the sister I remember from childhood, before life's sharp edges hardened her. Claire. Her voice wavers. Can we talk? In the kitchen? I follow her, my feet remembering the path across worn linoleum. Steam rises from the coffee maker, and somewhere upstairs a clock chimes noon. We stand facing each other, the granite counter between us like a border marking separate territories. Tears fill Vanessa's eyes. I don't know how to make this right. You might not be able to. The words come out steady, surprised by my own calm. She pulls a folded paper from her back pocket, a certificate with an official seal. I finished the parenting course. Her fingers trace the edge of the document. And this, she reaches into her purse, withdrawing a spiral notebook filled with cramped writing. My therapy journal. Dr. Marshall says I should share it with you. I don't reach for either item. Why? Because I never realized. Her voice cracks. God, Claire, I never understood how much I took advantage of you. How much. She presses her lips together, fighting for control. You were 18. You should have been living your life, not raising my children. The familiar urge to comfort her rises, but I let it pass. I will always love Leo and Ella. I know. She wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. But I will never be your emergency childcare again. The words ring clear in the quiet kitchen. Not ever, Vanessa. She nods, no argument springing to her lips. I understand. Do you? Yes. She meets my gaze. We can build something new, but it has to be different. I know that now. In the living room, Ella's delighted squeal draws our attention. I step around Vanessa to see my niece, so much bigger now, toddling toward me with outstretched arms. Up, she demands, and I lift her, breathing in baby shampoo and graham crackers. Leo appears with a crayon drawing. Look, Auntie Claire, this is from when you took care of us. See? You're reading me a story, and Ella's in her bouncy chair, and… It's beautiful, I manage, fighting the tightness in my chest. Mom appears at my elbow. I'm sorry, she whispers. I didn't see it clearly before. I was wrong, Claire, so wrong. Across the room, Vanessa watches us, something like respect replacing the entitled expectation I'd grown used to seeing in her eyes. When dinner is ready, everyone pitches in carrying dishes, filling water glasses, helping Leo with his plate. No one assumes I'll do it all. Later, I help Leo with another drawing while Vanessa cleans up without being asked. Our eyes meet across the room, understanding passing between us, bittersweet but real. Some bridges can't be rebuilt exactly as they were. Sometimes they must be designed anew, with stronger foundations and clearer boundaries. Standing at the sink, watching leaves dance across the darkening yard, I realize that saying no isn't cruel, it's what you do when yes has cost you too much. Like a bone that breaks and heals stronger, some relationships need that clean break to mend properly. The sound of Leo's laughter mingles with the clink of dishes and the soft murmur of family conversation. Not perfect, not like it was, but maybe, just maybe, better than before.